April Fools. If you've ever been pranked on April Fool's Day, you may wonder how this tradition started. Well, you're not alone. No one knows for sure how April Fool's Day began, but the most likely explanation has to do with the calendar. No, it's not an April Fool's Day joke. People used to celebrate New Year's Day on April 1st. Just like today, people would have big parties to celebrate. Over time, the calendar changed, and so did the date for New Year's. In the 1500s, the new calendar marked New Year's Day as January 1st. But because there was no internet or other means to spread the word, the news traveled slowly by word of mouth. It took a while for everyone to hear about the change, and even then, some people resisted it. They continued to celebrate New Year's on April 1st. These people were given the nickname April Fools. People following the new calendar played tricks on the April Fools by sending them on fool's errands. They had the April Fools deliver invitations to big New Year's celebrations that weren't really going to happen in France. April Fools were called Poisson d'Avril, which is French for April fish. This began because people thought fish were easy to catch since they could be fooled into taking the bait on a hook. Children would tag a paper fish on a person's back to mark them as an April fish. When the person discovered the fish, the prankster would yell, Poisson d'Avril. Not everyone is convinced that this is actually how the tradition of April Fool's Day began. People have tried to pinpoint the exact date of the first April Fool's Day, but this has only led to more pranks. A professor from Boston University pranked a reporter by making up a story about a court jester who said he could run the empire better than the king. The jester made king for a day on April 1st. This turned out to be a big April Fool's Day trick because the reporter thought the story was real. Even though we aren't sure how this tradition began, people still celebrate April Fool's Day by playing tricks on each other. So the next time you prank someone and yell April Fools, remember that the day may actually be about the people who didn't want to change their traditions when the new calendar was adopted. Or maybe it's just a day to celebrate the Joker in all of us. April Fool's Question 1. In the 1950s, which people were given the nickname April Fools? A. People who celebrated New Year's Day on January 1st. B. People who didn't know when April started. C. People who were not smart. Or D. People who refused to recognize New Year's Day as January 1st. Question 2. In France, what did children do on April 1st? A. Wore paper fish on their backs. B. Placed paper fish on other people's backs. C. Went fishing. D. Bought a new calendar. Question 3. The article states that people played tricks on others by sending them on fool's errands. What is the definition of an errand? Look the word up in a dictionary if you're not sure. Question 4. What is the author's purpose for writing this article? A. To teach readers about the history of April Fool's Day. B. To remind readers that April Fool's Day is coming up. C. To persuade readers into celebrating April Fool's Day safely. Or D. To teach readers how April Fool's Day is celebrated in America. Match each vocabulary word from the article April Fools on the left to its definition on the right. Our words are gesture, discovered, professor, reporter, empire, pinpoint, calendar, resisted, wonder. A. Person who teaches at a college or university. B. Area ruled by a king or queen. C. Person who is paid to tell jokes and provide entertainment. D. Found. E. To narrow information down to a specific place or moment in time. F. desire to know something. G, refuse to change. H, table for keeping track of days and dates. I, person who looks for news and writes articles for a newspaper.